Hello, and welcome to the Game Riffers Riff Table Arcade. It's been... Let's try not to think how long it's been.
3 months. It's been about 3 months.
Say, let's not think!
Well, it's realistic when you think about it.
I know we do still have some Let's Plays. Matter of fact, at the end I'll be mentioning, I have like a stream in mind, and then we have October stuff in mind. But,
yeah, obviously.
We're here for something else.
Yes, and konnichiwa gamers, this is Double RPG here, and as of recent, the Tokyo Game Show has come to a close for this year.
Yes. We usually do something like a stream or something, but unfortunately, Double R works, and I just started working myself, finally.
Yeah. Yes, he got himself a new job. Congrats, buddy.
Thanks. After 3 years of searching.
Well, it's a start, so
yeah, exactly.
Be sure you still keep searching for other jobs once your other one's up.
Oh, definitely. But yeah, it's yeah, exactly. It's a temporary job, so I still have to look for a real one, for a full one. But at least I won't have a gap there anymore.
Well, that's good.
Because that's that's the main reason why a lot of companies didn't hire me. It's like, oh, you have a good resume, but you have this gap.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, the friggin' reason I have a gap is because you won't hire me. But anyway, that's a whole nother.
Yeah, and we would have both Jeff and Phoenix on here, or Paul, but long story short about Phoenix, we don't even know where he is. He has not had any intent to contact.
Ask.
And I hope the guy is doing quite all right with how he's doing right now, but I'll still try to see if I can get him.
Hopefully it's just that he's like busy, not
most likely he's busy. But as for Jeff, he's going through a little bit of a depression right now, so we just kind of thought it would probably be best if we just did this episode ourselves. So,
has Skype anymore?
No, I don't. Well, it shows that shows that he's online, but he never even answers our he never even answers our text messages or calls on there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's doing with him what it does to us. It just says we're on.
Yeah, and
because his only way of getting on Skype right now is doesn't he not have that anymore?
Yeah, he usually would get it through his Xbox One, but he doesn't even. But he got rid of his Xbox One in his collection of games because he was running short on money. Ugh, man, I just feel so sorry for the guy. Just
like everything. That's pretty much how I would have been if I didn't find this job.
Yeah,
I was close to being that. So.
Yeah, he's really gonna need to step up his game if he wants to still, if he still wants to keep his stuff. Otherwise, he's just gonna have a buttload of problems again. So, Jeff, if you hear us, buddy, we definitely wish for the best of you, and hopefully you will come back fully revitalized, fully energized, and ready to come back and be at full steam once again. But, and also, I think it's also because he's been depressed about a lot of the things that's been going on with gaming right now, which we're not even going to discuss because we're not for either side. We're very neutral when it comes to the recent trend with gaming.
Yeah.
And it's very scary, too, so...
So right now, so that's why we're keeping the Tokyo Game Show, because we're gonna just try to keep it to something we can all just... It's news, so it's not really...
And Tokyo Game Show actually was quite a surprise this year. There was actually some pretty good things that actually came out of it.
There was quite a bit. I'm gonna start off with a thing I don't know much about, but Metal Gear Solid 5 showed a dog.
Yes, and since the name of the resistance group that Big Boss is going to be leading this time around, which is called Diamond Dogs, I was not surprised to see that they actually got a mascot on their hands.
He has his own eye patch.
Yes, he has his own eye patch. And they actually said that he's not going to be called Big Boss in Metal Gear Solid 5, but they're calling Big Boss as either Venom Snake or Punish Snake as his code name. But I guess he's going by that code name just to kind of keep his identity low. But then again, I don't think that would actually be a really good idea. But maybe it's just for protection purposes for whatever he's trying to do for this game.
But anyway, you never know when it comes to Kojima. Which,
from the trailers we've been seeing, it's been very, very, very impressive. Just looking at just the general scope of the Phantom Pain, even from the E3 2014 build.
Speaking of another piece of news about Metal Gear Solid 5, I just found this out. The ghost from PT, that Silent Hills.
Yes, the new Silent Hill game being either produced or I think produced by Hideo Kojima and Hollywood director / producer Guillermo del Toro. Now that was huge news right there.
That was before TGS, but some new news about it is the fact that the ghost from that game is in Metal Gear Solid 5 is a cameo.
Yes, it's a cameo.
Think about that.
Oh my gosh, it's like, are these two worlds connected? No, it's just coincidental.
Yeah. Oh boy, I'd hate to think about it. Boy, MGS with the Silent Hill world?
Yeah.
Sorry, depressing enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think the only one that the only game that I'm not really that privy about information-wise is Yeast 8, which is the new Yeast that's coming out for both the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation Vita.
Yes, and I believe it has cross-save. Someone will yell at us if we're wrong.
Yeah, I think it has cross-save, and maybe it's one that has co-op in it.
I did watch a gameplay trailer, and it did show Adol Kristen fighting with other people, people beside himself.
Yes, along with his longtime traveling companion was one, whatever his name was.
So I think it starts with a G. I have played 1, 2, and 3, and I still don't remember. Or maybe it's not even a G. It's like it starts with. Is it Dogi or is it?
Yeah, it's Dogi.
Yeah. It starts with D.
It's really funny. I have the Super Nintendo version of Yeast 3, and a lot of people consider it the worst or the worst game in the series. But with the remake on the PSP, Oath of Felghana, many people are considering that as the best game in the series. It's like, wow, the third game actually has the best and worst game out of all the ports. Yeah, simultaneously. So that's an impressive feat right there.
And another Japanese.
It's good. It's good to see that Falcom is still working heavily on that series,
especially on a console. I forgot to mention that it's the first time it's been on a console in a while
since E6, the Ark of Nafishdom or whatever it's called. That was on the PS2.
Yeah, PS2.
Mm-hmm. First time. And the last game was Yeast 7. That was on the PSP. Anyway, what were you going to say about RPGs?
Another RPG's coming back, but not in RPG form, but in Muso form, because, Dynasty Warriors is huge.
Oh, yes.
But I love this series, and just kind of like Hyrule Warriors, I'm like, it's like, yeah, I'm kind of sick of Dynasty, but I don't know, I'll play Hyrule Warriors, but the other game is coming out that's also Muso style, Dragon Quest Heroes.
Never thought that would happen.
Yeah, but hey, Toriyama's still working on it. That made me happy.
Of course. Mm-hmm. Oh yes, whenever it comes to Dragon Quest, he has a really heavy hand in the development process when it comes to character designs and that kind of stuff that he's been famous for. It seems like anything that has the word dragon in it, he's heavily involved. I mean, Dragon Ball, Dragon Quest,
Blue Dragon. Yep.
Yeah.
Remember that Blue
Dragon? Yeah, but the only game that. But the one thing that's also been famous that doesn't have the word dragon in it is Chrono Trigger, Chrono Trigger.
Yes.
And Tobal number 1, I think.
Tobal number 1, and there was number 2, but it never came out here.
Yeah.
So just number 1, which I had, and I never knew that it was even though it's obviously Toriyama's style. Mm-hmm. As a kid, I didn't put 2 and 2 together somehow.
Yeah.
Don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of Dragon Ball, might as well go into it since we're talking about Toriyama. There was a whole lot of news about... Yeah?
Yeah, I was about to say, since we're talking about Dragon Ball, we might as well go to the thing that you were excited about the most.
I am so hyped, and if people see my Skype avatar, it's one of the concept art for the game. Dragon Ball Xenoverse just had a whole bunch of news drop about it. Basically, Dragon Ball Xenoverse, if you never knew about this game before, It's basically a console, even though it's can't even say console anymore. That's one of the big news about it. About it at TGS as well, is that it's coming to Steam for PC.
First time a Dragon Ball Z game coming to a PC. Believe it or not, except for Dragon Ball Online. But when it comes to like a Dragon Ball fighting game, yeah, it's the first one.
Which that's another thing about Xenoverse. If you don't know, Dragon Ball Online was a game where you played as a created character in helping Trunks restore time and basically Xenoverse is Dragon Ball Online story, but for everyone to play because Dragon Ball Online only officially came out in Korea.
Right.
And it's more action.
And the thing is too is that the story, even though it still follows the same canonical story of the Dragon Ball universe, it pretty much, with the characters of Dragon Ball Online, your created character in Time Patrol Trunks, it's actually going to alter things within the story. Or their presence is actually going to alter things within the actual story. So we're going to possibly be seeing some new scenarios take place. Like, I remember seeing a trailer with Goku and Piccolo's battle against Raditz, and there was like this darkness that possessed Raditz, and he actually got out of the way of Piccolo's special beam cannon, and Goku gets hit by it instead.
Yep.
So looks like they're going to be changing up the formula a little bit with this one.
I'm super excited for this because it's finally been asking for a new story for a while. And I have a new story where it's like, alright, okay, you're your own character and you get to travel time. And there's this whole new future that overrides GT. So, although one of the main things I've seen in the comments for the trailer, where's the GT characters? No!
I'm like, it's like, for those who really enjoy Dragon Ball, who likes GT? That's all I can say.
All I can say is I didn't hate GT. I didn't. For me, it was meh.
It was meh for me too.
But yeah, exactly. So I'd rather.
Even though I was sad that they had to kill Piccolo off.
Yeah. Spoiler alert for the show.
Well, no.
How old is GT?
It's pretty old. It's like close. It's like over 15 years old. It's nowhere near. It's nowhere near spoilers anymore in my eyes. And he's my favorite character in that series.
But by the way, to explain more about what you can do in Xenoverse, like again, if you don't know about it, besides now the reason I'm saying override GT is because that's what they said about DBO, and if it's the same story, then yeah. And if you don't know about what I'm saying, I'm not just saying out of nowhere. A lot of people pull facts out their butts when it comes to Dragon Ball. Toriyama said this, even though he never said it. Go to a site called kanzenshuu.com and just look it up.
Yes.
Kanzenshuu actually fact checks and cite sources and all that. So, but about the game itself, in case you want to know the story, go there. But about the game itself, you can make your own character, which you could in Ultimate Tenkaichi if you ever played that.
Yeah, but the story was pretty lackluster.
The story was bleh, and the character creation was I don't even know what to call it. It wasn't.
It was like a hero mode or whatever it is.
I know, but I'm saying the character creator itself was like less than bare bones, like not even bare bones.
It was
only make a Saiyan, and you can only pick like 1 or 2 hairstyles. And
yeah,
this game you can make a Saiyan, a human, a Namekian, a Majin, or a human. And you might even.
I think you said human twice.
Did I?
Yeah.
Did I?
Yes. I think it's a Saiyan, a Namekian, a human, or even a Majin. Or didn't they say you could also create a member of the
Frieza's race?
Frieza's race too.
It looks like you can. I didn't see anything in writing, but the video pretty much showed that you can. So yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they actually had androids as a playable race too.
And you can make male, female. You can finally make a female Super Saiyan.
Even though Toriyama declared that females don't turn Super Saiyan, which in my eyes I find that to be kind of gender biased, when you ask me.
Yeah, and I guess that's their way of fixing what he said, because but they're like, nope, this is canon now, so.
No. if there's any indication that the new movie after Battle of Gods, the new movie that's coming out next year, if it's going to be branching out and considering retconning GT, then they might as well set things straight for once.
That's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying. That now it's almost like this game is fixing what he said. It's saying, no, girls can go Super Saiyan. Forget it.
Yeah.
Yes, they can go Super Saiyan. I'm glad.
So we finally get to see Pan turn Super Saiyan at a little age of 4 or 5.
Who knows? In that new movie coming out, who knows?
Yeah, there's a lot of questions still surrounding that movie, so we don't know what's going on with that.
But
only
yeah.
Toriyama knows, because he actually does have involvement with writing the story and drawing out the battle sequences for that movie. So he is heavily involved, like he was with Battle of Gods. So it's bound to be good.
So yeah, we mentioned character creator. It's basically an MMO, but fighting instead of RPG.
It seems like it's taken the same approach as Battle of Z, which a lot of people tend to criticize Battle of Z because they thought it had an identity crisis of some sort, but for me, I think they kind of misinterpreted what the game is actually supposed to be, because even though it has that basis of a versus fighting game, but it has actually more of a basis of an arena-style beat-em-up.
It's just
because you have allies that are with you, and you can actually fight against more than just one opponent. So yeah, it's like you can actually fight numerous enemies aside from just the main bad guy that you're going up against.
And also, just look at the Gundam games. It's like the Extreme Versus games.
Mm-hmm.
Similar.
And honestly, I really do find Battle of Z to be quite underrated. Just based on
fun with it.
Oh yeah, I'm still having fun with it right now. I mean, just for what it is. I mean, of course I'm having to restart some missions, and I'm really surprised at the learning curve that the game has, where every character you have to build up based on the story mode or whatever, for them to actually take down their opponents, or, you know, like each character is treated as its own character with their own base stats, and the more you use them, the more they can level up, pretty much. Jerry?
All right, no, I was just letting you talk.
But yeah, it seems like it goes for more of that gameplay style, but I'm thinking it's going to incorporate more of the battle system that they had with the Budokai games, because it is being developed by Dimps.
Yeah, exactly. It's Dimps, and if you don't know Dimps, just play Street Fighter.
And they made Budokai 3 possibly the best Dragon Ball Z fighting game of the previous generations, or just any Dragon Ball Z game that came out in recent times, you know. But if you're talking about 3D ones, then yeah, that one's the best. But in terms of 2D, I still say that Hyper Dimension is the best one.
That's an underrated one too, man. Nobody talks about that one.
And I have Hyper Dimension.
Right.
I got the Super Famicom version of that game, and I really enjoy the heck out of it. My only gripe is it doesn't even play on my Super Nintendo's Super Famicom adapter, because it has those two prongs at the side.
Oh,
because, because it has an advanced chip in it.
Oh, yep.
So, you know, like Super Mario RPG, and even Star Fox, and Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. So yeah, I'm having to play it on my Retro Duo.
Well, all right. And yes, that game does have advanced graphics, but now that I've gotten why I'm so hyped for this game out of the way. Another thing that came out was Square-Enix just said a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh my god.
R, what did they say?
They announced, they announced a slew of new things relating to Final Fantasy, but probably the biggest one that they showcased was a brand new trailer for Final Fantasy 15. Even though they clearly said that Final Fantasy 15 was going to be a no-show at TGS, yeah, bull crap. They actually showed off a brand new trailer.
That trailer got even me excited, and my dad, and we're not Final Fantasy guys, really.
Mm-hmm.
But we saw how it played. It looked like it played, and we're like, yeah, no, this looks great.
Yeah, and it even looks like that there's going to be, like, really smart AI, especially when it comes to your party members. Because if you take a look at the fight choreography, this looks like it's going to be a pretty enhanced battle system.
Yeah.
Far more enhanced than the past games, even though the past games do have its charm and nostalgia value. But, with this one, it does seem like it could potentially be a really good changer or a game changer to actually, enhance the active time battle system for modern standards or whatever. But just looking at the trailer, some people might be skeptical because of the whole fact that they're getting this vibe where you actually play as Noctis in a group of his own men that he's really good friends with. So they're actually like riding in a car and driving off pavement. So they're actually. So some people might actually dub that game as like Final Fantasy Tommy Boy or whatever. Because, the road trip in Tommy Boy that takes place. And, I'm actually waiting for somebody to actually take that trailer and just put sound
Tommy
clip.
Boy, audio, exactly.
Yeah, Tommy Boy audio. Like the Adaman toys that appears, they're just rising up from the ground when everybody's just, when all four of the guys are just looking at the creature. One of them should put in that audio clip where both Chris Farley and David Spade are driving in the car, and they thought they hit that deer, but it wakes up in the car and it starts to cause havoc.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And then one of them
I was thinking of that exact scene.
One of them should have yelled out, "It's alive!" that would definitely make my day if somebody actually did something like that, just making that whole scene.
Hey,
or just taking that whole scene and just taking random clips from Final Fantasy 15 just to fit, or from that new trailer just to fit within that thing.
You listeners and viewers out there, challenge thrown down.
Yes, there's a challenge thrown down to you guys right now. But realistically, getting back to the trailer, it looks good. It looks really good, and it definitely seems like this is a step up from past games, especially when it comes to the daytime mechanic. Like they have you can actually go through the game in daytime and nighttime. So there's actually going to be that whole Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time factor where you can actually go through like the game during like the daytime and nighttime of certain areas, and you can actually go into like caves and fight enemies and that kind of stuff, or complete side quests and all other things when you're just driving out in the countryside and just going from place to place. But even though I'm still kind of wondering how the whole story's going to play out, or if it's just more than just like an actual area, because there's really got to be a big open world in store for this game. There's got to be lots that we still don't even know about.
Definitely, it's got to.
Yeah, and it's going for more of that approach of Kingdom Hearts within its gameplay. But the gameplay, it looks really solid for like a hack and slash or an action game, like an action RPG of sorts. Like especially when it comes to Noctis using his swords to teleport. That's actually, even though it is kind of cheesy from a realistic standpoint, but it actually adds to the flair of the flashiness in the battle system or whatever. So it's like going above cinematic gameplay in a sense.
Speaking of 15, another piece of news is Tetsuya Nomura.
Yes, he officially has stepped down from being the head director of Final Fantasy 15 because based on the current development structure of what Square-Enix said, he is now relieved from director duties of that game, as it's left to Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII's head director, Hajime Tabata, is actually taking full reign of the directing duties for the game now. And and for those of you who don't know, he's also the director of other games such as The Third Birthday and Final Fantasy Type 0, which is both on the PSP and the upcoming HD remaster on the PS4 and the Xbox One. So, and from what people have been saying about Type 0, they've actually had a lot of great praise for that game, and I'm honestly thinking that for those who say that Tetsuya Nomura leaving Final Fantasy 15's development or leaving the director chair, they kind of lost faith in the game now. But I say don't. I'd say
it looks like Crisis Core. Hey.
Yeah,
it kind of makes you think of Crisis Core already. So.
Yeah, and based on how Hajime and based on how Hajime Tabata has actually made his games when working at Square Enix, say he is a pretty good. He's a pretty good person not to underestimate when it comes to his, him directing games or whatever. Because when you take a look at Tetsuya Nomura, it seems like most of his stuff he's actually worked on when it comes to Final Fantasy is like creating the characters, the base story, or setting up the base story and having somebody like Kazushige Nojima actually writing out the whole scenario and just like bring about the game design and the battle system and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it seems like he has all those bases of what he works on for a Final Fantasy game. It seems like more of his creativity lies within Kingdom Hearts, which, speaking of which, Kingdom Hearts 3 was the reason why Square-Enix decided to step him down from the Final Fantasy 15 project to have him work full-time on Kingdom Hearts 3 right now, because, yeah, that game needs to be put into full gear right now to try and get out possibly in 2015 or most likely 2016.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. So, I was kind of shocked, and I know a lot of people tend to give Tetsuya Nomura a lot of flack because of his, his character design style and the way how he makes games and that kind of stuff. But honestly, he's one of those guys who worked alongside Hironobu Sakaguchi, Yoshitaka Amato, Nobuo Uematsu. So I really wouldn't consider him like a black sheep of any sort. I'm thinking he's like one of the last people that actually still gives Final Fantasy a good name.
Yeah, exactly. You know who would be a black sheep is
Motomu
Toriyama. Not to be confused with the good Toriyama.
Yeah, but
I gotta make that distinction now. Like, which Toriyama? The bad one. Oh, Motomu. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Motomu, the one who made the bastardization known as the guy who made the bastardization known as the Final Fantasy 13 saga.
Or as I call it, waifu.
Waifu, the series, the game that plays itself.
Yeah.
Press X. Just keep pressing X. That's all you have to do. Don't worry about yourself trying to figure out how the game works. Just press X all the frickin' time.
And then the thing is, the latest one, isn't it just like a dress-up thing, too? It's just...
Yeah.
It's just, all you do is just dress lightning up? Like...
Yes, pretty much. And you can actually travel around cities, but it's really easy to get lost. It's like, what the hell's going on?
At least it gives us great deep insight, like destiny is destiny.
Mm-hmm. The characters are shallow, boring.
All right, but to get on with some good news again, Type 0 got a release date.
Yes, the HD remaster. It's coming out on March 17th, 2015 in the United States, believe it or not. And then it's coming out, I think, in Japan the next day, and then in Europe a couple days after, if I'm not mistaken.
Europe, guys, are always last, unfortunately.
Not in this day and age, especially when it comes to Nintendo's products.
Well, okay, they gotta stay.
Yeah.
True.
But yeah, I mean, I'm really excited about that, and also with the people who managed
only it came out for Vita.
And people who get early copies of Final Fantasy Type 0 HD Remaster, they will actually get a 3-hour demo of Final Fantasy 15.
Okay, now that's cool. I was gonna say, like, why are you putting it on consoles instead of the Vita? Oh. Alright, yeah, okay, I'll take that.
Speaking of which, they're bringing Final Fantasy Agito Plus to the Vita.
At least the Vita's getting something.
Yeah, which the Vita does need to get more of its own content.
Definitely.
And just seeing how developers are leaving that system in the dust as much as them leaving the Wii U in the dust, it's very discriminatory.
Both two systems that are great and need love, and people are
they're just like meh.
Hopefully these new games like East and for the Wii U Smash, Bayonetta.
Yeah, which we're all looking forward to pretty much.
Because those are two systems that are like, man, these are good. Why don't you buy them? Show support. Show the developers it's worth developing for.
Yes, exactly.
If it has an install base, they will develop for it.
It's like it has an install base. It's like, yeah, you're coming up with that same excuse over and over and over again. It's like we want to see third-party games, but we don't want half-assed GIMP ports and that kind of stuff. You're not taking them seriously, and there's a lot, and a lot of people say that you had problems with Nintendo back then because of their whole quality assurance guidelines, especially when it came to the NES and Super Nintendo. But there's a reason for that. It's to prevent the industry from going into another crash.
Which, might could happen.
Oh, yeah. There's a possibility that another one is going to be coming up because of all the things that's just been going on, but I'm not going to delve into it that much longer. But anyway, back to where we were.
Speaking of news, we had Type 0. Another thing about, what else does Square-Enix do? Oh yeah, a mobile game.
Oh, they are coming out, some of you might be familiar with this, but they're actually bringing in a new game for the compilation of Final Fantasy VII, but it's not the Final Fantasy VII remake we've been wanting, but no, it's a mobile game that's based on the motorcycle chase segment, but it's actually evolved itself into its own game, like it's going to have its, own story or whatever. It's going to be more than just the mini game because it has enhanced graphics and you get to do all sorts of things while you're on the either the Fenrir bike or the Daytona bike from the
Daytona USA
original game. Yeah, Daytona USA bike or whatever.
I wish it was Daytona USA.
Yeah, like you can actually fight enemies, either Shinra infantrymen or regular monsters when you're driving out on many of these highways. And but the other thing that I actually found to be very cool about the game is that you can actually perform limit breaks, and one of them actually has Cloud using his his blade beam to actually attack the first boss in the original game. Which is that guard scorpion or whatever who's chasing him on the highway. Yeah,
I remember that. Wow, I can't believe I remember that scorpion.
Yeah, and Cloud used his blade beam against that mech, and then all of a sudden it goes up in the air, but all of a sudden you actually see Tifa just jump out of nowhere to deliver her final heaven limit break on it.
Reminds me of Final Fantasy VIII also has something where you had to outrun that spider.
Yes. But the thing is that if you can defeat the spider, you actually got rewards for it.
You get bonuses and stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So who would want to run away from that thing when you should defeat it just to get the best reward, or just the higher grade in that game?
Alright, now that we talked about, you know that reminds me of
what?
Mobile instead of an actual remake. Reminds me of us Shenmue fans. Who we wanted, we still waiting for, or would like very much for a new Shenmue, right? And Sega announces a Shenmue MMO, and it's like, what do you mean? And it's like, it's for phones. Oh.
Just for phones, but yes, Sega is still trolling us. But it's like, Yu Suzuki, if you say that Kickstarter was how you were going to bring Shenmue 3, then do it!
Exactly!
Jeez.
The money is there, dude. The money will come. Suzuki-san.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
And another thing about Final Fantasy is that they also have the new 3DS game, Final Fantasy Explorers, which is supposed to be an action adventure RPG game that's kind of in the vein of The Legend of Zelda a little bit. But it has the traditional elements of Final Fantasy, like with the Black Mage and the Knights and just like the regular class characters and that kind of stuff. So it's more traditional Final Fantasy, but with a different spin in terms of gameplay mechanics. But what I actually found to be interesting about that game is that you can actually have character costumes based on the more popular characters of the Final Fantasy franchise as alternate skins or whatever. And I think that's coming out either later, around this holiday season in Japan, or sometime in 2015. But anyway, and I think that's all Final Fantasy news related.
Yeah, that is. Next thing I want to talk about is, as I'm seeing some positive news on this, the new 3DS was shown off to people to actually play at Tokyo Game Show.
Yes.
To the public, and I'm looking at some positive news because the first thing I read was some negative news about it, but I guess I think that person's alone. And
that was all the negativity that we've seen on the new 3DS has been from Wired and Engadget. That's it. That's the only, from what I know.
Yeah, I haven't seen it anywhere else.
Yes, and from what a lot of people have been saying about the new 3DS, they actually really like it, especially when
Even IGN is giving it to us.
Yeah, just the design and just having the little C pad or whatever, for the second analog stick, that you can use with your right thumb or whatever. That they said that it's very intuitive. They very streamlined, and wish that it was something that was included with the original 3DS models. But then again, sometimes it's better late than never, right?
Yeah. Plus, speaking of 3DS, you mentioned design earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I really love it. I really hope. I don't think we will, but I really hope we get the Super Famicom colors here.
That would be very nice, and but probably not. It's probably going to be
That's
in
the
gray.
reason why I want it.
It's probably going to be in gray and purple, like what we got for Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
But
Either that, or like the LL is in GameCube colors. Maybe. I'll take GameCube.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm going to be getting. I'm probably going to be trading in my 3DS XL for the. Well, then again, I have to trade it in after I do the data exchange.
What's funny is that how I was just and you can tell people the truth that I was just talking about, like, before this was announced, about getting a 2DS.
Yeah.
And then this got announced. I'm like, well.
Well, the thing is too is that Xenoblade Chronicles is coming out on 3DS, and I think that's going to be a launch title in Japan.
And it's only playable on the new 3DS.
Yes, and there's even going to be games that are going to be exclusive for the new 3DS. And
that's the reason why
I kind of have a theory as to where this is going. Well, with why the new 3DS is being made. You remember with the quotes about how Nintendo is trying to, with their new development building in Kyoto, that they're trying to merge both the console and handheld development teams together.
Yep.
I'm thinking that this is going to be the first step before the 3DS and the Wii U successors about bringing in the new hybrid between the platforms, where you can actually play console games on handhelds and handheld games on consoles.
That's the thought, that if Nintendo makes a new system, it'll be like that.
Mm-hmm. So if that's the philosophy that they're going for, then I'd say Mazel Tov to that. Or Mazel Tov. Or whatever, however you say the catchphrase, whatever it is.
It's a Hebrew thing when you get married.
Of course. But in terms of other things 3DS related, Monster Hunter 4 was also showcased.
That was demoed. Yes.
Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, to be exact. And have you ever had a chance to play any of the Monster Hunter games, Jerry?
I did play some of 3.
Ultimate or Monster Hunter Try on the Wii?
The Wii U.
Oh, on the Wii U, Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate? Oh, good. And
I thought it was good.
Oh yeah, I just love playing the heck out of Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. Just making me more excited for Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate next year, because it's just I like the new weapon that they have in the game. It's like that double bladed pole arm or whatever that's made out of like insect, like either bones or just insect body parts or whatever. It's supposed to be like a switchblade between like a staff and a bladed pole arm, double bladed pole arm.
Yeah.
And with the new 3DS, it's probably going to be the best thing. It's probably going to be the thing that's going to make the game very compatible. For lots of people to play it on. Because with the original 3DS and the 3DS XL, they don't even have the second. They don't have the second analog nub, unless if you buy the Circle Pad Pro. But then again, who would want to buy
that bulky thing?
That bulky thing. Even though I did buy the 3DS Circle Pad Pro. Oh God! And the fact that you had to use one AAA battery, it's just like
that's portable, right?
It looks like looks like an ugly tumor.
Yeah, I know. The 3DS. Oh no! I gotta take it to the hospital. When did he get this? Oh.
But the thing is, with Monster Hunter 3DS, I can understand why they went with that system for the next game. It's probably because they wanted to improve on the online functionalities. of Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate because it was really bad. Like there was no online for the 3DS version of Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate.
Yeah, there wasn't.
Yeah, so even though I'm kind of bummed that they should have made a Wii U port of this, because that probably would be another potential, potential seller for Wii U's, which it was for Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate for here in the States a little bit, but it still managed to garner in some sales of that game regardless.
Also, another thing about the new 3DS we should mention is it uses amiibos.
Yes, it's going to be having that NFC functionality be integrated in the new 3DS, so you won't even have to use that supposed plastic piece of plastic where you can actually set your amiibos on to connect to your 3DS to have all those data and have all that data and features from the figurines from the little stand onto your 3DS. No, the NFC functionalities are implemented in the new 3DS to where you can just actually put the amiibo figurines on the bottom screen and they'll actually read the data from there, which it's a good thing.
And finally, there's a ZR and a ZL button.
Yes,
shoulder,
which
two extra shoulder buttons, which I wish the Vita would do. Frack, come on, like, we need the L1, L2s, man.
Mm-hmm.
The L2s.
And obviously they designed it like they designed the new 3DS like that, I guess, to attract more of the hardcore crowd or just core gamers in general. Because of it,
so more games can be like their console experience.
Mm-hmm. But let's just hope to God that the analog stick on the new 3DS doesn't even wear off when people play competitively on the new Super Smash Bros. On 3DS.
That is an issue, a concern I have. Because remember the PSP's nub?
Yes.
Remember how that broke?
No.
It broke on me.
No.
It broke on a lot of people I know. It broke on me.
Never broke on me.
Well, you know how it broke on me too? It did not work. What it did was, it was stuck no matter what. No matter what I did, it like, I was playing GTA Vice City is when I noticed it.
Uh-huh.
My character's walking by himself. I'm like, what the frack?
Yeah.
I'm not touching anything.
Weird.
I just hope that doesn't happen. But to be honest, it does look like it's a little bit like, looking at the close-up of it, it looks like it's a better build than that nub.
Uh-huh.
More sturdy.
Okay.
Alright, that's 3DS. What else do we have on our agenda? We just had,
Well, we have Metal Gear Solid 5, which we don't... Yeah, we already talked about that. Bravely Second.
That we didn't talk about.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that, but have you had a chance to play Bravely Oh, wait a minute. You don't have a 3DS, do you?
Anymore. Because, this...
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, well, there's a new DS. Okay, and then the 2DS, I'm like, alright, oh, wait, there's a new 3D. Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, and for me, I'm definitely looking forward to Bravely Second. I mean, I played a little bit of Bravely Default, which I still intend to play more, and just love the heck out of that game. Just for the mechanics that it has, that hasn't been done in a Final Fantasy game. It's just like, oh my god, this is like what Final Fantasy needs to go for right now if they want to go back to that traditional experience of how it started.
Yeah, exactly. It's more Final Fantasy than Final Fantasy.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And you know, I definitely have high hopes for it, because for the sequel, and we'll just have to see how well that plays out. I mean, we've still been learning little tidbits of information there from here and there, but what is it going to do that's different from the original game? That's kind of hard to figure out, but hopefully it does a lot more than what we just initially saw. But I have a really, really strong feeling in my brain that it's going to be doing much better, or it's going to improve upon the sequel's going to improve upon the original game, which, there may be instances where that actually doesn't happen, but considering how Bravely Default did, I wouldn't even put it past Bravely Second, to be all honest.
Yeah, I have faith we fixed the few issues I heard from Bravely Default.
Which, speaking of which, Silicon Studio, the developer behind Bravely Default, they actually made 3D Game Heroes.
I still haven't played that game.
Oh man, that game.
And it's so, and I wanted to, and I know it's cheap now, so I don't really have excuse now.
It's actually pretty good. Homage, well, not homage, but pretty good tribute to the Legend of Zelda series in my eyes. But anyway, next game, Resident Evil Revelations 2.
Revelatons.
Revelatons. And I think they showed off some new gameplay, but from what people have been saying about the new gameplay trailer, they're saying that it's suffering another identity crisis, obviously.
It's Resident Evil, but it's, what is it, more actiony?
Yes, and the thing is, too, is that when you play as Claire Redfield, the main protagonist in the game, she's the only one who gets killed, not Barry's daughter, Moira, or whatever her name is, who's actually helping you, like shining things with a flashlight or just to help you out. But yeah, she can't die, but Claire is the only one who can get killed. And it's just the most recent quote with what Capcom said about Resident Evil Revelations 2 was how they're trying to go back to the original survival horror roots. Yeah,
no.
By what you said, Capcom, yeah, I'm not going to trust you anymore, because
I don't buy that.
I don't buy that. But from the original, I really like the first Revelations. Did you play Resident Evil Revelations, the first one?
Nope.
It's actually not that bad. I mean, it's more like what Resident Evil should have been after Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, not 5. Not 5.
That survival horror approach of the original series, with like the claustrophobic atmosphere and the close-up scares and that kind of stuff when you're coming face to face with the whatever the zombies that they had in that game. I can't even remember.
Enemies.
Yes.
Generic term.
Yeah. But they're kind of going for a new type of BOW with Revelations 2. But the thing is that with Revelations 2, the BOWs in that game, they're actually weak towards light. So if you shine that light with Moira on them, then they actually will be stunned. So something tells me they're adding in more of a casual approach to this game. It's like, oh, really? Have they seriously?
Capcom is bleeding money.
Yep, apparently Capcom is bleeding money. They're not, they just want to go for what's more hip, just like what Hollywood's doing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why we refer to Resident Evil.
They just want to make that money because they're. It's like, well, whose fault is that?
Resident Evil 6 and Resident Evil Revelations 2, directed by Michael Bay. It's all about explosions and having a theme song at the end by Linkin Park.
Exactly.
But, it's still too early to say anything about Revelations 2. I mean, just looking at it alone and just based on some things, it actually does look like... it definitely does. It definitely looks a lot better than Resident Evil 6. I'll say it that much, but it is coming out early in 2015, so I'll have to wait until that releases to judge an actual opinion on it. Which honestly, I'm actually looking forward more of the HD remaster of the Resident Evil remake that was on the GameCube.
Oh, right.
Because that was a really good remake in my eyes. But now it's getting the whole HD remaster of it, and I'm getting it on PS4. But anyway.
Well, yeah. So, next game.
Next game, and probably the last one that I've actually that really caught my attention was The Great Ace Attorney, which is a prequel to the Ace Attorney franchise, chronologically taking place in the Meiji era, and it's supposed to star Phoenix Wright's descendant, who actually got into the judicial system of being a defense attorney.
The law is always running his family.
Have you ever played any of the Ace Attorney games?
No.
No? Okay.
And everybody's yelling at me right now. So I didn't really have it. I had a DS for
Oh man, those. Just when it comes to Ace Attorney, those games are very, very, very well written. even when they're localized, the games are very well written. They actually, and the names of the characters, they actually fit very well, based on the places that you go to.
Layton. Does that count?
Sure, you could say that.
I played Professor Layton. I'm not that terrible.
Yeah.
Of a gamer.
Even though Professor Layton versus Ace Attorney, it's I feel it's a step down from both franchises, but it's not that bad of a game. But it's just with the Ace Attorney series, it's just that's the one that I've had my eyes on for the most time, because it seems like Professor Layton was more for casuals, but when it comes to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, it's actually more for the core crowd, because it's one where you have to actually, pay attention to what you see and what all information that like your witnesses give you when you interrogate them, like through the investigation elements, and then when you go to the court segments, that you have to see if there's any contradictions in what they say to actually present evidence to defend your clients at all times, pretty much. So that there is that element where you feel you got the upper hand, but there'll always be something where you got to use your you got to figure out or try to figure your way around to see what actually makes sense based on the new pieces of evidence that are presented upon for every time when you actually manage to counterpoint against somebody's argument or whatever. So I actually that's why I really like this series so much, just because of the gameplay elements as well as the story and the characters. But when looking at the Great Ace Attorney, even though it does star Phoenix Wright's ancestor, it seems like it doesn't really have that much connection between him and the Fae clan, which, if you remember from the original trilogy, that the character Maya Fae is a part of, who's from this clan of females who are spirit mediums, who can actually speak with those who have lost their souls and passed away, to see if they can try to get information out of them in case of something really bad has occurred. Just to see if they can actually help those to, bring justice to those who actually caused some criminal acts or whatever. But it doesn't seem like it.
Perhaps it's done that way, so people who are new to the series, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And it seems like it possibly might go in that direction if the hint of the main protagonist's client, even though she's a female and she actually wears a kimono and all that, it could possibly mean that she possibly might be the start of the Fae clan before they become more famous or whatever. But it's still hard to say. But we do know for a fact in the Great Ace Attorney that Sherlock Holmes is going to be a really big prominent character in that game.
Because, right?
Yeah, because. And he's going to be helping the main character, especially when it comes to the court cases and all that. But, I'm kind of actually interested to know about some of the other characters that are actually going to be in the game. Like, since we're seeing Phoenix Wright's ancestor, does that mean we're also going to be seeing the ancestors of, I don't know, maybe Miles Edgeworth, Dick Gumshoe, Godo, Franziska von Karma or whatever? It's just like all those characters that you see from the modern era, which the Ace Attorney games are based after. It's like, what are we, what do their ancestors look like for this game? It's like, are they going to be presented in the same fashion as what they are from what we've seen, or are they just going to be completely the polar opposite? But it's kind of hard to say. But they just only have 4 characters announced so far, but then they also showed off some of the gameplay, which pretty much retains a lot of the things that made the Ace Attorney game so great. But I'm kind of wondering what different they're going to be doing for it, because the only last 2 times they ever did something different was with the Ace Attorney Investigations with Miles Edgeworth, where it was more of a point-and-click type of game, where you actually had to play as Miles Edgeworth to try to, convince that, certain clients or certain people, like, what they did was guilty, or whatever they did could actually try to benefit to help them or whatever. But then again, I haven't played the Ace Attorney Investigations games, which we only got the first one, but we never did get the second one. But hopefully Capcom will have a change of heart and localize the second game if they wanted to do an HD remake or just a remaster of the spin-offs,
Be nice.
But, yeah, it would be nice, but, I'm definitely up for some more Ace Attorney. I'm liking how the series is going. I'm glad to know that the 5th game, Dual Destinies. It's not the last game, as they plan to go forward with that more, but it's just the original creator, Shu Takumi, is just wanting to go in the Meiji area this time around. Because the last thing that Shu Takumi worked on was Professor Layton versus Ace Attorney, while he did not have any involvement in Dual Destinies whatsoever.
Okay.
But, yep, definitely looking forward to it. So, and I'm pretty certain that Capcom's going to be releasing it for the West. Probably it's going to be another digital download like what Dual Destinies was, and even with the upcoming remake trilogy or whatever, the remaster trilogy that's coming out on 3DS later this holiday season, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually did the same thing again. Seems like Europe's been getting physical copies of games recently, especially with like One Piece Pirate Warriors, and I think even Dual Destinies, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Dual Destinies, but we only got the digital versions of those games.
And yeah.
It's like, what's going on here, guys?
At least for yeah, no, right? I guess it's like it's our turn to be first in something.
Yeah,
I guess it's true.
I suppose.
Yeah, they're always last in the release dates for usually.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, and that's all on my end. Was there one last thing that you wanted to talk about?
There was two things I was going to talk about, and that's all I got.
Okay.
The thing was that you talked about Ace Attorney, right? And you mentioned how there's games that came out in Japan that never came out over here in terms of sequels. This series is getting a prequel as well, like Ace Attorney, and its sequel, Yakuza 5. There you go, I just said it. Never came out here, so I'm talking about Yakuza 0.
Mm-hmm.
Trailer showed up on Tokyo Game Show for it, and I'm actually checking because I'm almost certain. I gotta check the system again because I was gonna say one system and I might be wrong. Yakuza 0 is for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3. All right. Okay, so it's cross-gen. It is a trailer that shows a young Kazuma Kiryu. You ever played Yakuza?
No.
No?
No.
No, you should try it. You should, if you can, track down 4.
And it's just not my cup of tea.
Do you like Shenmue?
No, Yakuza.
I'm asking if you like Shenmue, because...
Oh, yeah. Oh,
because Yakuza is basically the spiritual successor to Shenmue.
Oh, yeah. I like Shenmue.
Because if you like Shenmue, you should like Yakuza. I'm not saying you will. I'm just saying it'll help. But
I'll get to it eventually.
But anyways, Yakuza 0 showed a young Kazuma Kiryu, the main character. It showed Goro Majima. If you know these characters, they're young. It takes place in 1988. It's before Yakuza 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's yeah.
And yes.
Well, it's before Yakuza 1, 2, 3, and 4, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
It shows real-life Yakuza doing real-life things, except for random stuff, like at one point in the trailer, you got a guy who's on a motorcycle dragging his sword on a wall to make it go on fire while riding the motorcycle in a sewer. It just... yeah, that's Yakuza. They do that.
You're breaking up, man.
And that's all I can really say about Yakuza 0. It's a prequel. It's out there like the other Yakuza games. It's like, we're real Yakuza. And then they do crazy things like motorcycle fire tricks.
Mm-hmm.
But if you like the previous ones or like this one, it's cross-gen. Even if it doesn't come out in America, game facts and import because PS4 and PS2
region-free.
Pretty much region-free.
Yes.
You know, there's a few games, but I doubt this one will be region-wide.
I know one company that needs to change its policies about certain games needing to be region-free.
We were just talking about one of their systems.
But I'm not going to delve to it that much.
Yeah. Your previous handheld was region-free. They know who I'm...
No. It's just Nintendo's systems have always been region locked.
The original DS was region free.
Yeah, the original DS was region free. I do agree. Yeah, exactly.
So I'm like, why?
But it's just the way that how they've been making their newer systems region locked now. It's like It's like, even though I don't import, current games in this day and age, it's like, you go at least have other people who like that kind of thing, give them that choice of letting them do that instead of having to buy a new system.
There's enough of them. There's enough people that import that I think it's worth doing.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, how else do we know about the Super Robot? Why is there such a huge Super Robot Wars fan base? I don't know, because we import?
Yes.
I'm about to import... I imported friggin' Another Century's episode, Super Robot Wars, Real Robot action game. I still have it.
Oh, nice. And I have I have a lot of imports on my hand, but they were mostly back on the Super Famicom.
I used to import PS1 games. I used to import all the Dragon Ball PS1 games.
Oh, nice.
Back in the day.
And you even imported the Legend.
Yeah.
That
was my favorite one.
Oh, yeah. Which Battle Z is based after that, it seems, or somewhat.
Xenoverse as well will have 3-on-3 battles.
Oh yeah, that is true. But anyway, what else about Yakuza that you wanted to mention?
No, that's all I want to say about Yakuza. The last thing I had to talk about was Street Fighter.
Was there anything new about Street Fighter?
A brand new free mode coming in a patch.
Oh yeah,
Street Fighter
I forgot
Omega
about
mode.
Omega mode. What's that about anyway? The Omega mode.
It's what it is it's basically, you ever heard of a mod way back called Street Fighter Rainbow Edition?
Yes.
It's basically that as an official mode.
Wow.
What all it is giving the characters crazy moves just for the fun of it.
So it's gonna be Street Fighter Ultra Street Fighter 4 Broken Edition, pretty much.
Exactly. They even admitted that it will be broken.
Oh god.
Because you can play it online, but you can't play ranked matches. So it is not for serious. It is not a competitive mode. It is for fun only.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives characters crazy moves. Like Ken can throw Hadokens with his feet. That was one of the first things I saw that was like out there. Guile is given one of Charlie's super arts from Alpha. Chun-Li has her super combo from Street Fighter 3 as an EX move. Dalsim can do some crazy move where he like uppercuts you and then does a yoga flame in the air. Like,
yeah.
So basically, it's like, what crazy moves can we give these characters that are just for fun? Like Ken throwing feet Hadokens. Just one of the things stuck. Those are just the 4 characters they showed. There's more. Every character is something crazy. They didn't bother to show them yet because they want you to get,
That is just freaking nuts.
Yeah. And it's free. It's part of the DLC patch that's supposed to fix some things for the actual competitive modes.
Do you have
Ultra?
Yes.
Nope. Now that I have a job,
you might be considering getting it.
Yeah, because it's only 15 if you have the Super. And then the disc version is 40, but it comes with everything. I might just get the disc version. But you know what I'm actually playing to get first, right? You don't.
Guilty Gear Xrd?
As in coming out next month.
Oh.
I'll just tell you.
Okay.
Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition.
Oh, okay.
Because I love Sleeping Dogs, and the PC version looks so great. And I'm guessing this current gen version will look like the PC version. At least, hopefully, enough like it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm really excited. Let's go on the deals.
Cool.
So yeah, that's the last thing I had was Omega Mode, Street Fighter free patch coming out. I think in a few weeks.
Okay.
Patches things and adds a free mode. And if there's anything we missed, let us know. But right now, I think let's wrap it up.
Yeah, I really don't have that much else to talk about, in all honesty.
Yeah, me either. Like I said, you guys let us know in the comments.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We definitely want to hear what you guys have to say, and what was your big moment from TGS this year. Let us know in the comments about that as well.
All right. As for that, what I want to start the wrapping up with is our plans for this channel. It's not dead.
Yeah, we're not dead yet, folks. No, we don't intend to die anytime soon.
I still have Pokemon. I still have Pokemon footage.
And I still have Rockin' Cats footage. And speaking of which, we're also going to be doing something special for Halloween. You want to let them know what we're going to do, Gary?
Yeah. Parasite Eve.
Parasite Eve. That's going to be Video Dragon's Let's Play. He's going to be doing on Twitch. While for me, I'm going to be doing Onimusha 2 Samurai Destiny on the PS2.
And it's not Halloween, but I did promise Mario 2 to finish Mario 2 live.
Yes.
So that'll come sometime soon.
I am looking forward to seeing the massive amounts of failure.
Oh God!
when going through World 4 onwards to World 7.
I wonder if I'll have any crazy moments like that time in World 2 where I kill that shy guy somehow when I was lifting the dirt.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh man, that was like a glitch or something.
Oh God.
Glitch.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was lifting dirt, I was touching nothing. I have nothing on me, and then the shy guy just drops and dies.
Ooh.
You were like, I remember you're like, what was that? So that's all we got for the channel. Well, planned. Definitely probably have more like Pokemon still there.
And we'll probably have some more we'll probably have some more Riff Table Arcades.
Oh, yeah. These are easy to do.
But yeah, these are easy. But we hope to get everybody back on track at some point. And like I said, I don't know what happened to Paul, but hopefully he's still doing okay, which I'm sure that he is. But since he hasn't really been on Skype that much after E3, it's just like, where the heck are you, buddy?
Yeah, it's like, hopefully, he's just busy.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anything got plugged, that's all. Right?
Well, I got my new review of Mega Man X2 up on my channel. Check that out at Double RPG Reviews off of YouTube. And my next review is Yaiba Ninja Gaiden Z, and I think that's going to be my Halloween one, or my Halloween review. So it has ninjas and also has zombies in it. And it's a bad game. A really, really bad game. And then in November, I'm going to be doing Mega Man X3, and then I think I might as well spill the beans a little bit. My Christmas review is actually going to be Final Fantasy 3 on the Super Nintendo.
So 6.
Yes, 6. What we got over here when it came out on the SNES. Yeah, S3.
Yeah, and 4 was 2.
Yep.
5 never came out over here as anything. Well, until later.
Until later.
Same thing with 2 and 3, the real 2 and 3. We didn't get those till later.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, other than that, nothing else on my end.
As for me, I do commissions. I made logos for some people. I'm working on another show, YouTuber's logo right now for their video game show.
Oh, cool.
I do that. People like him. The Film Renegado, if you don't know who he is, he reviews Mexican movies and stuff. And he's reviewing Power Rangers right now.
Oh, nice.
And I made a logo for his Power Ranger show.
So, I take it that the guy has done a review on the Mexico trilogy, El Mariachi, Desperado, and Once Upon a Time in Mexico?
If he hasn't, I'll demand it, because that's what he reviews. Those kind of movies.
Well, yeah, I figured he probably liked Robert Rodriguez as a movie maker.
Oh, he does. He actually does. I know that much.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you want a logo, I do $5 for now, anyways. Get them before I jack up the price. I'm being honest.
Yeah.
At least I'm being honest. I will.
Yeah. The more well done, the more work he gets done, the more well received his work is, the more he's going to jack up the price. So if you want your logo, then better ask him now.
Yeah, while it's still cheap.
Yeah, while it's still cheap.
Technically, I should be charging $75, not just $5. But I just want people to know me first.
Yeah.
But that's FighterXaos.deviantart.com. That's FighterXaos.deviantart.com. You'll find all the info there. That's all I got. So I guess we should sign off, right?
Yep, and we all hope that you enjoyed this delightful return to the Riff Table Arcade, and we hope to get more content coming along for the Game Riffers in the future, especially with the regular regular ones that we have, as well as the live streams, but we'll have to see how that goes with what we got planned. But anyway, to sign off, I am Double RPG.
I'm FighterXaos.
And we will see you next time. And this is Double RPG and both FighterXaos signing off by saying Godspeed and game on, gamers, and we'll catch you later.
Nimyo, kanryo.